allowance money from you this month, okay? I already spent the $1,500 that you gave me before, so I need you to send me more as soon as you can.
What? You spent all that money already? It's barely even the middle of the month.
Yeah, there's been a lot of school-related parties and drinking lately, so I had to spend all that. It's for school. I need another $500. Oh no, actually make it another $1,000 just to be safe.
Get your act together, Marnie. We aren't made of money, you know. I told you that last month was the last time that I would give you extra allowance, remember? But now you're asking for more money again. Did you not understand what I told you before?
What can I say? The money is gone and it is what it is. I have to do what I have to do for school, you know? So just give me some more to tide me over until next time, okay? I promise you it's all for a good cause. My education. Surely that's the least you can do for your daughter who's trying to make it here in the big city.
I told you before, you need to get yourself a part-time job. That's how you can have more spending money. You have plenty of friends who are working part-time to pay for things that they want, and you need to do the same. So take a cue from the people around you and do what they do. Your father and I can't just keep sending you more and more money every time you ask for it.
But I need your help. After all, you and Dad told me that you want me to concentrate on my studies, remember? You said that I'm your only daughter, and you worry about me, and that you'd send me enough money so that I don't have to work. Why are you going back on your word now? You can't just do this right in the middle of a semester.
We said all that to you with the understanding that you were studying hard and being a good student. But lately it's obvious that you're partying more and more and studying less and less. I mean, it's gotten to the point that you've even dropped required classes, and now you have to repeat a year because you don't have enough credits. You understand that that means that your father and I have to pay an extra year's tuition now, right?
But Mom, you and Dad just can't understand how tough it is because you guys never went to college. No matter how hard I study, there's always another really hard exam that's waiting for me next time. It's like a never-ending marathon. And I'm not the only one who's dropping required coursework. It's a pretty normal thing to do.
That may be so, but having enough credits to move on to the next academic year is also a normal thing to do, and you're not doing that. The only possible reason for that is that you're not cracking the books the way you should be. You need to stay focused and on task.
So what are you saying? I don't think I like the implications here. Are you saying that your daughter is a stupid underachiever? That hurts, Mom.
Oh, don't be so overdramatic. Just get yourself a part-time job and make your own spending money for a change. It'll be good for you. $1,500 is plenty for your living expenses. I've done the math and we all talked about this before you went to college. You're obviously spending too much on partying and drinking, so you either need to start spending less on that stuff or get a job to pay for it.
Oh, get off my back already! Just send me what I need. Why are you suddenly being so unreasonable? I can't believe that you're just gonna break your promise to me like this. I mean, this is my life that we're talking about. You should be ashamed of yourself. As a parent, the least you can do is keep your promises to your only daughter. So just send me that extra $1,500 ASAP, okay? I'll watch my bank account for it. Thanks.
Mom, I won't be home for dinner tonight, so no need to cook anything for me, okay? They're making dinner for us at work, so I'll eat there and I'll be home later.
Oh, really? Okay then. That's very nice of them. Don't forget to say thank you to them.
Yeah, I know. I know my manners because Mama raised me right. They're doing dinner for us tonight because I have officially made my sales target and they wanted to congratulate me and celebrate. Isn't that great?
Oh, wow. You made your goal for that already? That is great. I thought you still had a couple of months to go on that.
Yeah, that's right, actually. But you know, I really worked hard during the initial training period, and I also just made the quota that I wanted to at the end of the month. So I'll be able to pay for my plane ticket to the music festival and everything else that I need to pay for. It is a good feeling. I'll keep up the good work and do even better next quarter. Just you wait and see.
That's awesome. If you do that, I'll celebrate for you too. That'll be fun. In fact, I'm going to pay for your plane ticket this time as a reward for all your hard work.
What? Really? Mom, you don't have to do that.
I know I don't, but I want to. I mean, you passed all your exams with flying colors, and you managed to be one of the top 10 students in your class, all while working part-time and doing great at that, too. What kind of person would I be if I didn't reward that somehow? It's my job to reward you for a job well done.
Oh, thanks, Mom. You're the best. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. So are you going to visit with your sister on the way to the festival? I mean, she's right there on the way and everything. You should at least drop by and say hello on the way over there. I can ask her about it if you want me to.
No, that's fine. Thanks, though. There's no need for that. I don't really want to bother her, you know? Actually, I just would rather not see her at all. Sorry, but it's the truth.
What? That's a harsh thing to say. Why not?
Ever since she went to college, she's just turned into a party girl with the heavy makeup and the tight outfits. She's even dropping classes, and she's gonna have to repeat a year. It's like she caught a case of the stupid virus. I just can't stomach that, and I don't want to be around her. I don't want to catch any of that virus, you know? I'm doing well in school now and making plans for the future, and I don't want to mess it up by associating with her.
Hey now, Max, you need to be kind. You shouldn't talk like that about your sister. Whatever happens or whatever she does, she's still your sister, okay?
Anyway, I have friends on the way too, and I'll have a lot more fun staying with them than if I stay with Marnie. So that's what I would much rather do, Mom. Maybe we should just leave it to that for now.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. I understand, and I think your sister will understand too. But don't forget the promise you made to me, okay? I intend to hold you to it. You promised me that you'll always keep your wits about you and not get out of control while you're away from home.
I know, I haven't forgotten my promise, Mom. You can count on me. Okay then, I have to go to work now, so see you later.
Mom, when are you sending me that money? Is there something going on that I need to know about? I've been waiting for a week now, and I still don't see that $1,500 in my account. What's the holdup? I'll say it again. It's been a week.
Marnie, I never told you that I was going to send you that extra money. I think you made that up in your head. The real question is whether or not you found a job yet. That's what we talked about last time, and I haven't heard a thing from you about that. I told you that you need to find something to do to pay for your entertainment expenses, remember?
What? No, I haven't been looking for a job. Don't you understand that I'm super busy with school and stuff? And it was you and Dad who originally said that I don't need to work, remember?
Yeah, about that. Your father and I talked, and we've decided that we're going to be sending you less money every month starting next month. We'll send you $1,000 per month for your living expenses, but anything over and above that will be your responsibility.
Huh? I can't believe what I'm hearing. All of a sudden you're too stingy to give me a measly, $1,500 a month? You're not even willing to send $1,500 a month to your hardworking daughter in the big city? You can't be serious! How can you even call yourself a parent? I'm completely shocked!
Hang on a second, Marnie. You have to know that if we saw that you were actually studying and doing what you're supposed to be doing, we would still be sending you $1,500 every month. But you're clearly not doing that anymore. That was your end of the bargain, and you haven't held it up. You're spending all your time and money on partying, and you're not prioritizing your studies. Having some fun now and then is perfectly acceptable, but you crossed that line quite a while ago. We didn't agree to you moving into the city so that you could party your life away. You're supposed to be there studying.
Hey! Partying and making connections is part of being a college student. You just don't get it, Mom. Hanging out and collaborating with classmates and friends is just part of the college experience. I have to rub elbows with the upperclassmen and score brownie points with them if I want to be included in stuff, you know? Plus, those people have great advice and study tips for quizzes, tests, and assignments that I'll have to do later. So my hanging out and partying with them is like an investment in my education, you know?
Hey, if partying with older boys is so important to your education, then so is getting a part-time job to pay for that partying. Study hard, play hard, work hard, and make money. That's what you should be doing at your age. If your classmates can do those 3 things, so can you. You're just as capable as any of them.
Listen, Mom! Do you have any idea how difficult you're making my life right now?
Huh?
You tell me to get a job like it's just some easy little thing to do in my spare time. But I have no spare time. I'm only just starting the best decade of my life, my 20s. And you're basically robbing me of precious time. The time that I'd have to spend doing some lousy part-time job is the time that I could be spending making friends and building connections that will get me a real good job later on down the road. Do you really want me to miss out on all those opportunities just so I can do some low-paying part-time job?
Trust me, Marnie. Any connections that you make when you're drunk aren't worth having. And anyone acting like a big shot with a bunch of college kids is not actually a big shot. I promise you. Those aren't people who you want to be looking to for career opportunities, advice, or anything else that's important.
You just don't get it, Mom! I mean, one of the upperclassmen that I hang out with just got an official offer from a really, really big company. And some other ones that I know are already working for big multinational companies too. And all of them really like me, and they say they want to hire me. You can't get into a good company by just being a wallflower and doing nothing but study all the time. You have to get out and make connections.
You know, you really need to wait until you actually land one of these jobs before you start saying stuff like that. At any rate, we won't be sending you any extra money, and starting from next month, we'll only be sending you $1,000 per month. If all these connections you're making are worth anything at all, you should be able to use them and find yourself a decent part-time job to make up for our reduction in your monthly allowance.
Oh, now you're just being sarcastic with me. How is that okay? I feel like you'll regret taking this attitude with me someday, Mom.
Huh? And what are you getting at?
I mean that I'm actually right on the verge of getting hired by a big multinational company. And I've been thinking that once that happens, the first thing I want to do is send some money back to you and Dad. But if you and Dad aren't willing to help me out anymore, then I'd really have to rethink that whole thing, you know? Because I'd feel a lot differently about it if you guys just left me twisting in the wind like this.
Marnie, I don't want to believe this, but it almost sounds like you're threatening your father and me with those statements.
Threatening you? No, that's not my intention at all, Mom. I'm just concerned that you're about to squander the goodwill that you and I have between us.
Please don't try to play me and your father for fools, Marnie. We've never had and never will have any expectation of getting any money from you for any reason. That's not why we help you and your brother. We help you because it's the right thing to do.
And now what are you getting all upset about? Oh, let's just forget about the whole thing. I don't need any money from you. Don't even bother anymore because I'm fine.
Really? You don't need anything from us at all anymore?
I'm just really sick and tired of having this conversation with you every month, Mom. And anyway, $1,500 a month is nothing. I can make that in a heartbeat, easy peasy. I'd much rather make the money myself than get lectured by the two of you, that's for sure.
Wow, you're really confident for a girl who hasn't even found a job yet and who has no work experience at all.
Hey, I'm a student at a great university with really good name recognition. Even though I still haven't graduated, I have no doubt that I'll be warmly received by any company I talk to. Once that happens, making $1,500 a month will be easy as pie. And honestly, that amount of money is really just a pittance.
Excuse me.
Whatever. I just really don't want to deal with you about money anymore at all. I can take care of my own expenses. Thank you very much.
Okay then, we're done sending you any monthly allowance.
All right, no problem. I am doing just fine here. Thank you very much. I'll find a good gig in no time flat. You just watch. Why, I bet I'll be making as much as you or Dad makes before you know it.
Oh, really? Then you'll have no problem making $10,000 a month starting this month, right? You'll be able to pay for your rent, tuition, and everything else all by yourself, right? Because all of that together adds up to about $10,000 a month.
Huh?
That's right. Next semester's tuition is $12,000. And next month's rent is $1,500. And without any monthly allowance from your father and me, that's another $1,500 a month for your living expenses. So go ahead and do the math. It's a lot more than you thought it was.
Hang on a second. You're telling me that I have to pay my rent and tuition too? I thought all you were canceling is the $1,500 living expense allowance. You guys are still going to pay the other stuff as usual, aren't you?
Not at all. You're misunderstanding, Marnie. You said this all yourself. You said that you'd much rather make the money yourself than get lectured by the two of us, did you not?
But wait!
Your two lecturing parents have been giving you a lot more than just the $1,500 that you've been wasting on alcohol and clothes. We pay your rent and your tuition as well, you know. All that money comes from us, dear. I would have thought that a smart girl like you who goes to such a good school would be aware of all that. Or maybe you're not as smart as I thought you were.
No, I know.
At any rate, good luck with all of that. We are rooting for you. We're looking forward to hearing your update on what kind of work you find for yourself.
Wait a minute, Mom. Hang on. There's no way on earth that I can make that kind of money with a part-time job. That's just impossible. Any way you look at it, it just can't be done.
But you'll have to do it if you're going to continue to attend that school, dear. And by the way, next semester's tuition is due at the end of next month. And don't forget that if you're late with the tuition, they won't let you attend classes until it's paid.
Oh, Mom, please don't tease me like this. Please at least pay my tuition for me. I mean, that's your duty as a parent.
Actually, no. Our duty in regards to your education was done a long time ago. We got you through high school. That was our duty. Now, putting you through college, that's not our duty, Marnie. That's something that we do because we love you. But the way you're acting these past few months and your attitude towards us has made us rethink that.
But you can't just...
Marnie, it was you who said that you don't want to deal with being lectured when you ask for money. You said that yourself. You're 20 years old now and a grown woman. And since you're a grown woman, you should be able to stick to your word and follow through on things that you've said. If you can't do that, it looks pretty immature, to be honest.
What?
Just take responsibility for your words and actions like a big girl now, dear. So just go get yourself a job and take care of yourself, okay?
Mom, I'm so sorry about last time. I apologize. I'm really sorry, and I see how wrong I was. So please send me some money so that I can pay my rent and tuition. I'm so very sorry, so please forgive me and let's go back to the way it was before, okay?
Hi, Marnie, what's that? You say that you don't have enough money to pay for everything? I thought you said that you were going to get some really high-paying work based on your being a student at that great university. Did that not happen?
No, it did not happen. None of these part-time jobs care about my academic history or where I go to school. They all just want to pay me minimum wage, and they're actually even tougher on me than they are on the other workers. It's like they hate me because I'm going to a good school. They actually tease me and make fun of me because I'm in school and they're not.
Oh my, that sounds like a real nightmare.
I've been working myself practically to death, and all I made was about $800. I had no idea that it would be so hard to make money. I'm sorry that I was so ungrateful, and that I said that $1,500 a month was nothing. I understand now how hard you and Dad work, and how much you give me and Max. I'm sorry I didn't realize it before.
Well, well, it seems like you've really done some hard thinking and reflecting. You really sound like a totally different person since the last time I talked to you.
The last month or so has really forced me to look at a lot of stuff, Mom. I thought about all the stupid things I said to you and about how much you give me and do for me, and I'm so ashamed that I talked to you that way. In fact, that's all I think about all the time lately, Mom.
Oh, Marnie.
So can we please get back to how things were? I mean, I've really seen the error of my ways, and I've turned over a new leaf. Can we please go back to the way we were doing it before? You know, you guys take care of my rent and tuition and send me a monthly allowance? I'm gonna do my very best in school now, you'll see. And I'll graduate and get into a good company with a good salary, and then I'll be able to take care of you and Dad when you're older.
You are not a very good actress, are you? You're making me laugh so much that my stomach hurts.
Huh?
You know, sis, you really have some nerve talking like that. You'll take care of Mom and Dad and you've seen the error of your ways? Really? That's the complete opposite of what you said at the bar the other night.
Sis? Mom and Dad? Wait, who am I texting with? I'm supposed to be texting with Mom about important stuff. Max, this has nothing to do with you, so stay out of it.
Hey, I'm a member of this family too, so it does have something to do with me. I can't even believe what I'm hearing from you right now, Marnie. I'm doing you a favor by cutting you off, trust me. I'm just totally blown away by the difference between your words today and what you said at the bar. I just don't know what to do other than to laugh about it.
The bar? What bar? I don't know what you're talking about. And what's so funny about all this anyway?
It's funny because I was in the city a few nights ago on my way to the music festival, and I ended up at a bar with some friends. We were having drinks and telling stories and having a great time. I got up to use the restroom, and when I was walking over there, I saw you there too, Marnie.
Wait, you were in the city? At the same bar as me?
Yeah, I wasn't there late because we all had to get up early the next day, but I was there long enough to see and hear quite a lot of you. Anyway, there was a big noisy group of college kids, and there you were, right in the middle of it. You were getting pretty loud with a bunch of other girls, and the guys were clearly enjoying it. I was so shocked when I realized it was you that I did a spit take.
What?
Yeah, I'm just used to seeing you around the house in your sweatpants and glasses and with your hair all messed up. You really put a lot of effort into getting dressed up these days, huh? I mean, you even had colored contacts in. Those really make you look weird, you know?
It's called fashion, dummy, and it's obviously something you know nothing about, so keep your opinions to yourself. Big city style isn't the same as our small town.
So tell me, Marnie, is it big city style to talk so crudely about your parents too? I heard you say some pretty bad things. I mean, I don't even know how you talk like that about your own parents.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Stuff like, I'm so over them. They're just too annoying. And there's no way I'm doing a part-time job. I'll just call them at the end of the month. I'll tell them that I'm sorry and that I see how wrong I was, blah, 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 blah. You know, the stuff that they want to hear. They'll just give me some cash then, I'm sure. Parents can never say no to their kids. They're like the world's easiest ATMs. I have to say, Marnie, this stuff is so nasty that I just had to record it and let Mom and Dad listen to it.
What? What did you do?
So, you can turn on the charm all you like, but it's not going to make any difference at this point, Marnie. Mom and Dad know what you're really thinking and what you're trying to do.
What I'm trying to do? What about what you're trying to do? Why are you trying to sabotage my success?
Huh? How am I standing in the way of your success? If anything, I'm the successful one in this family. When are you gonna grow up, get a clue, and stop thinking that you're better than everyone else?
Excuse me?
You know that trip that I just took to the music festival? I paid for that all on my own, thank you very much. I paid for it with the money that I earned on my own and saved up. That is how grown-ups do it. It's one thing to take your money from Mom and Dad for school tuition and things like that, but that's all. If you want to party, buy clothes and makeup and whatever other stuff you're always buying, those expenses are on you. In fact, even that kind of meaningless stuff has a little more meaning when it's your own money that you're putting into it. It's kind of like you and your college education, you know?
What do you mean by that?
I mean that you're the one who said that you want to go to college, so you should be the one who pays for it. Or at least you should be the one paying for most of it. But Mom and Dad love you and they agreed to pay for it out of the goodness of their hearts. And how do you repay them? By insulting them, by trying to strong-arm and guilt-trip them, by making a fool out of yourself with your trashy clothes and behavior. I have to say, Marnie, I have really lost a lot of respect for you lately. A lot.
You can shut your mouth now. I got into a great university and Mom and Dad should be proud of that. So what's the harm in getting help from them? I got into a great university and I'll get into a good company too. Then they'll be even more proud of me. That's why they're paying my tuition and rent, and that's the way it should be.
Oh, really? So all that cleavage I see on you these days, is the purpose of that to get into a good company too? Watching you jiggling all over and teasing every guy at your table the other night seriously made me feel sick to my stomach. Friendly advice, Marnie. If you have to resort to that kind of behavior just to get a job, you should probably quit while you're ahead.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, kind of like the bar version of Marnie, though. I mean, you make me do every little thing for you at home, but at the bar, you were running for drinks for all those guys, giving them shoulder massages and all other kinds of stuff.
Oh, don't even start on that stuff now, please.
But maybe your target wasn't a job after all, huh? Maybe you were really aiming to snag yourself a sugar daddy. You were really giving a lot of attention to that one guy. You know, the one with the ironic mullet and the pinky ring.
Don't tell me you were spying on me that whole time.
What can I say? You were putting on a good show. I'm gonna do you a solid though, Marnie, because you entertained me so well. You should back off that pinky ring guy. I saw him in the bathroom with some other guy and they were talking trash about you, saying that you're annoying and what's the best way to get rid of you.
What?
So I'm gonna say that neither of them are good dating prospects.
What? That can't be true. He's always really nice to me and tells me how smart I am. I mean, last time we all had drinks, he even told me that the two of us should have dinner together. We haven't made a date yet, but that's what he was saying.
Listen, Marnie, it's all well and good for you to be out having a good time and enjoying life. If getting drunk and messing around with all these guys is what makes you happy, then by all means go right ahead with all of it. But you really need to acknowledge reality too. And the fact of the matter is that that guy you're pining after isn't into you at all. Also, Mom and Dad are even closer to the end of their rope than you realize.
Huh? What do you mean?
Look, this is the last piece of advice that I'm gonna give you, Marnie. If you don't change your ways soon, you're gonna be left all alone in this world. All alone. So whatever is going on over there in the big city, you need to know what's going on with Mom and Dad and how they're feeling about you right now.
Marnie finally got motivated and found herself a part-time job soon after that. Of course, she was unable to earn enough to cover all her expenses, so we talked it over with her and it was decided that we would pay for her tuition, rent, and allowance as we were doing previously. However, we would treat all of that money as a loan to Marnie. At Max's suggestion, we also made Marnie sign a promissory note in which it was clearly stated that the interest rate on the loan would be determined by Marnie's GPA when she graduated. All of this seems to have motivated Marnie to earn her own money in order to borrow less from us and to study harder in order to get her interest rate low. As for Max, he seems to have taken his sister's example and decided that he'll do the exact opposite. He is staying close to home and going to the local junior college. He says he wants to learn whatever he can as quickly as he can, then get a job and move to the city so that he can see as much live music as possible. That sounds like a very good plan to his parents.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, please remember to click the like button. If you didn't, feel free to give us your opinions in the comments section below. Also, please follow our channel. Your opinions and comments keep us going. We have many more videos that we're sure you'll enjoy, so please check them all out. See you in the next video. This is Maggie's Book of Bizarre Stories.
Joanne, it's me, Lisa. Did you change your email address? I tried messaging you a while ago, but never heard back. I hope you're both well. Would you mind telling me which hospital and ward Dad's in at the moment? I know it must be somewhere in your district, but there are about 8 possible places and I'm unable to narrow things down anymore. I heard from Patrick's cousin that he was admitted last month, and I'm having trouble finding out where he is so I can see him.
Oh, what do you want all of a sudden? Can't you see it's a bit late for all this? And I saw your emails as I was putting them straight into the junk folder. Paul always did have a big mouth. Trust him to be the one to tell you. Did you ply him with wine to get him to talk? That's what usually works. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that I don't yield quite so easily. No matter how much you pathetically beg and plead, I have nothing more to say to you.
What? Why on earth do you find it necessary to be so hostile towards me all the time? I've done nothing but try to be amicable.
Isn't it obvious? You don't even bother to come home once and leave all the caregiving to your poor brother and sister-in-law. And then out of the blue, you decide to get in touch, only when it's at your own convenience, of course. How selfish can you possibly get? Let me guess, you've heard that he hasn't got long left? And don't lie, I know what you're up to. You've been biding your time, waiting for the optimal moment to show your face again. And all in order to try to convince him in his weakened state to increase your share of the inheritance, right? I would call you a vulture, but that would be an insult to vultures.
Hang on a minute, I don't know what you're talking about. Not long left. Are things really that bad? That's terrible news.
Well done. You should be nominated for an Oscar for that performance. It's glaringly obvious you've got your eyes firmly on the estate. I see right through you. You can't fool me. How shameful to stay distant for so many years only to turn up when you're after your father's cash.
Excuse me?
Sorry, but pigs will fly before I tell you even the slightest thing about Martin's whereabouts. In any case, even if I did tell you, the hospital most likely has a policy against letting dirty bums into the building. I wouldn't want to cause any trouble. People like you are nothing more than a nuisance. You're a waste of space.
Dirty bum. What are you saying? How dare you, Joanne? You know that's way below the belt. You have no right to use that language towards me.
Tell it to someone who cares. Patrick had a lot to tell me about you. I know all about your upbringing. What a failure you are. You're such an idiot, you didn't even get as far as graduating high school, did you?
Huh?
With that lousy school record, your salary must be pretty pathetic. I bet there was hardly anywhere that would take you. Do you even have a job? You truly are the epitome of a dirty bum.
Hold it right there. I can assure you that I am working and not the layabout you perceive me to be. Did you ever discuss with Patrick the actual reason why I didn't finish high school?
Yes, he mentioned it. It was all your fault, right? He told me it was because you're such a hopelessly stupid sister in a lost cause.
He said that.
And what's more, you were so envious of your brother graduating from university, you just had to leave education at the same time as him. How very immature. You didn't bother showing your face at her wedding, and we didn't receive a single message of congratulations. All this, and yet you still have the nerve to see Martin in hospital in order to get your hands on his money? If you think I'd help you, you must be crazy or something.
Wait a minute, Joanne. You've got it all wrong. The reason I want to see Dad has nothing to do with demanding a share of the inheritance at all. And besides, it sounds like you've been hearing a lot of one-sided information about me that doesn't tell you the full story. If you'd listen to me for once, I could tell you everything, and I think you'd be very surprised.
I don't want to hear any of your excuses, so don't bother trying to get in contact with me ever again. You have absolutely no right to go pester my father-in-law in his weak state. You would only cause him distress. What with you being such a loser, dropout, and suddenly showing up after a complete lack of contact? To be honest, the sight of your face would probably finish him off. So stop inconveniencing us and kindly get lost.
Yo, Lisa. I heard from Joanne that you want to go see Dad. Like you actually thought she would tell you? I didn't think you were bright, but that really was a dumb move to pull.
Ah, I expected she would pass on the message to you. Up until now, I've tried to get in touch so many times and never once received a reply from you. So I thought it better to contact her instead.
You just don't know when you're beaten, do you? There's really no point trying to get information out of us. You should just give up and stop wasting everyone's time. You probably heard it from Joanne, but I'll tell you again so you definitely get the message. We won't allow you to access our father, ever.
Patrick, how could you be so callous? Isn't he in a critical condition? This is my last chance to see his face. Surely, as I'm his daughter, you can allow me a visit. I have rights.
Oh, shut up. At the end of the day, you're just a love child. An accident. You shouldn't even exist, let alone make unreasonable demands like that. There's no way someone of your low class can be granted permission to see Dad when he's suffering. I think we were way too kind to you when you were forced into our hands. That's why you act like such a spoiled brat. Just get lost, you pathetic dropout gold digger. Crawl back to the hole you came from.
What?
You really are shameless, aren't you? Begging to see Dad at his late hour. Surely you just want to check to see whether or not you're included in the will, despite being illegitimate. You, who showed zero gratitude for your upbringing, selfishly running off and not coming back. Having an interest in nothing but his money just goes to show what a natural-born lowlife you truly are.
Wait a minute. What's all this about me running away and not coming back? I was driven away by you two. That's what really happened. And why, despite that, do you feel the need to call me such horrible things and treat me so badly? I already told Joanne loud and clear that I'm not looking to claim inheritance.
Huh? I only tell it like it is. Don't lay that blame on me.
Yes, it's true that I'm illegitimate. I recognize that, and I am in no way ashamed of it despite what you say. Sure, I'm a result of a fling between Dad and a waitress at a cocktail bar. What of it? Because Mom had to work long hours and couldn't hire a babysitter, in the end he agreed to take me in and raise me. However, it wasn't such a happy ending. I faced a huge amount of animosity from those I lived with. It was the two of you who threw me out of the house before I even had a chance to sit my high school exams. So I couldn't graduate and go on to university.
And what of it? He may have put up with you for a time when you were too young to go anywhere else. He was obligated to do so even if he didn't want to. It was all very unfair on us.
Not only do you try to explain everything away to suit yourself, but you're so defiant about it too. Get a grip. Listen to me. As a child, I was obedient and didn't kick up a fuss, but I really can't take it anymore. I've reached my limit. Before calling me names and treating me like an idiot, what about my dad?
What about him?
I meekly did what I was told in order to survive. I did what I had to do to avoid conflict as best I could. Although some days it didn't matter what I did, I would be punished in any case. As the illegitimate child, I thought everything was my fault and that I was the one at fault. But the bad guy wasn't me, but in fact, Dad, right? He's the one who was having affairs with other women despite being married to your mom. Isn't that incredibly wrong? Haven't you ever thought about that? If you did, then you'd see that I'm actually the victim, and there's absolutely no reason for you or Joanne to attack me. If anything, it would benefit you both hugely to be on my side.
Oh, shut up. It's far too late now to try pinning blame on other people. You can't change my mind. In any case, you were born out of wedlock, and therefore, I can't stand you. My father doesn't have long left, and I really don't care what you have to say, even if it was true.
What?
Yeah, you heard me. I don't give a damn. Just leave us alone.
That's very hurtful, Patrick. You know very well that I'm legally registered as his daughter.
Now shut up, you really are the lowest of the low. I've told you to get lost, so there's nothing else left that you can do. I never want to see you again. I have no sister.
Hey, Lisa, are you insane? What on earth are you doing turning up to the funeral? You know you're not welcome here.
I heard from a relative that Dad passed away, so as his daughter, I felt I needed to attend. I messaged Patrick asking for details of the service venue, but he completely ignored me. So there is nothing left to do but scope out the area and work it out by myself.
For goodness sake, please just get away from here once and for all. You're an embarrassment. The last thing we want is for you to make a scene in front of everyone. Are you trying to ruin our image? You need to leave here as fast as you can without anyone seeing you.
I don't think so. I have no reason to follow your orders after all.
You just don't know when to give up, do you? To go this far in pursuit of the inheritance just reeks of the desperation of a lowlife. Illegitimate kids sure are greedy. Patrick told me about you the other day. I know everything. I always thought you two were on unusually bad terms for siblings. But who would have guessed you were the result of an affair? How seedy. Aren't you working in a dive bar just like your floozy bimbo mother? That's what I heard.
It's not a dive bar. It's a restaurant.
Ooh, a restaurant. Got you, Miss Fancy Pants. Naturally, you take after your mother, flirting with drunk old guys to pay the bills. Oh, I guess you were always fated to follow in her loser footsteps no matter what you did.
What do you mean? Neither of us have ever done that sort of thing. My father never told her he was married and then broke her heart. Are you not trying to make fun of my mom, too? What did she ever do to you?
I don't need to make fun. I'm just stating the truth. She makes a living thanks to grimy old dudes. That's fact. But working in food service in this day and age must be very challenging. You must barely earn enough to feed yourself. It's no wonder that after sniffing out Martin's money, you've come to get your dirty hands on it.
I'm warning you. Don't push me. I think you should hold your tongue, Joanne. I've told you over and over again that that just isn't the case. Why can't you get it into your head?
You're too funny. Either that or totally deluded. Either way, I'll never believe you. Why do you get so worked up when someone tells you how it really is?
I can see that no matter what I say, I'm not going to get anywhere with you. It's like talking to a disrespectful brick wall. Could you please call my brother for me? I'd stop trying to talk to you if only he would give me 30 seconds of his time. There's something I wish to discuss with him directly. It's extremely urgent.
Patrick organized the funeral, so he's super busy right now. He certainly doesn't have the patience to listen to your trivial complaints. You'd only be wasting his time, so do us all a favor and get out of here.
In that case, I definitely can't leave. I'm staying put. I'll be whiling away the time someplace nearby. I saw a diner around the corner that's open 24 hours, and a motel too, so I'm afraid I won't be leaving you alone. Once he gets 30 seconds, please get back to me. As I said, it's very important that I speak with him.
Yeesh! You really don't shut up, do you? Look, there really is no limit to how far you'll go to get your hands on Martin's money. I'm the one who lived with and cared for him. We both did. What did you do? And Patrick is his son. A real son, not a stray. Unlike him, you don't count. You're not a real part of the family, and you never will be. So it should be more than obvious that you have absolutely no right to claim an inheritance.
Calm down, Joanne. Your share is safe. I can assure you I'm not after your dad's estate. I know that's your main concern.
I do not hold my father in a positive light, and that's putting it politely. But I'm grateful that you've been caring for him, and I'm certainly not trying to steal anything away from you.
Shut up! Just get yourself away from here!
Joanne, let me finish.
If you care so much about it, I'll give you the cash on Martin's behalf. Your share is 10 cents. So take it and go, you filthy rat.
In that case, you may have everything.
I never want to see you again. And why didn't you just say that in the first place? It would have saved so much time. On absolutely no account do we ever want to see your face again. Got it? And that includes any form of contact too. No messages, no texts, no letters. You're as good as dead to us.
Okay, understood. Fine by me. In any case, I have no interest in seeing my toxic brother and sister-in-law. I'm letting you have the entire inheritance, so good luck repaying all that debt. You'll be hearing from my team of top-class lawyers in the morning.
What do you mean, debt repayment?
I mean paying back the money owed to me. That'll be about $200,000, please. You can't say I didn't try to warn you both. I trust you'll let your husband know about everything. I get the feeling he'll have a sudden change of heart and contact me straight away. But to be honest, I'm very busy, so I might not have the time to answer.
What? Wait a minute. What on earth are you talking about? How is it that we owe you money? $200,000 is a ridiculous amount to demand from someone. Are you out of your mind? This is the first I've heard of any of this, and Patrick certainly hasn't ever mentioned it to me.
Oh, sure. Patrick likely is completely oblivious to the whole state of affairs. Not that I haven't been trying my hardest to make it known to him.
Huh?
If only Dad had been able to spare the time to see me while he was alive. You would have found out quite a bit sooner, had that been the case. It would have saved you a lot of trouble. So you have him to thank for that.
Hold up. You need to explain what's going on here. What is this debt that not even Patrick knows about? I have a right to know, so I demand you tell me this minute.
You knew about my mother's line of work, right? You certainly reveled in belittling it at least. The truth is that she passed away about 3 years ago after a brief illness. Unsurprisingly, Martin didn't show his face either during her final days or at the funeral. He was probably scared of being found out, or wanted nothing to do with her once she had nothing left to take. What I mean to say is that it wasn't until Mom had passed that I found out that Martin had borrowed from her and the money was still owing.
Martin borrowed money from her?
I was surprised too. But yes, it turns out they had a relationship that extended beyond the affair. She effectively loaned him money, and she was so kind she didn't even charge interest. She always did try to see the best in people, even that pond slime.
By the money, you mean the entire $200,000?
Yep, precisely. He frequently asked her for money, and over the years it added up to $200,000. But the bad news for you is that he never bothered to repay a single cent of it.
You're lying.
But naturally, this was a problem for my mom. I have written communication between them where she says, if you don't pay me back that loan, then I will have to work long hours every day to make ends meet and won't be able to care for my child. She was forced to press him as she was put in a very difficult position. Martin's reply was, I'll take care of child rearing if you give me more time. And that's how I came to live in his household.
Is that true?
I'd been under the impression that Mom forced me on him because she thought I was an inconvenience. He even tried to tell me that himself, the scumbag. But I can see now that that wasn't the case at all. She agreed to my adoption on the condition that my father would pay back what he owed eventually. Despite this, I was treated like I was a problem and not a real part of the family. He showed nothing but contempt for me, and in front of his son as well.
Oh, that's what happened?
You don't remember? As you know, I lived there up until I was partway through school. In short, even when I'd gotten old enough to be considered pretty much an adult, he still hadn't paid back any of the loan. And eventually he said to me, "You're not high school material.
He refused to keep me in his home any longer and kicked me out onto the street. Wait a minute. I thought you were too stupid for high school and failed everything, so you flunked out. What you were told was a story made up by my dad to make Mom and I look like the bad guys. But no, not a word of it is true. I did very well academically. I actually came top of my class in most subjects, and my teachers told me I was on track for an Ivy League education. But he and your husband wouldn't allow that. They effectively put an end to my dreams. I may never have truly lived up to those high expectations, but I tried my best to make the most of a bad situation. After I was thrown out, I did some night school courses to catch up while I worked, and now hold a degree in business management. This is unbelievable. You must be lying. And so 3 years ago, my poor mother died alone and still without her money. After I'd learned of what happened, I waited patiently for the repayment on behalf of my mother. Of course, I was notified of her passing. But even knowing this, Dad never once attempted to get any money to me either. What? So when I got wind he was in a critical condition, I felt I just had to make contact with you. I couldn't let him get away with ignoring his debts forever. But thanks to you and your husband barring access, I wasn't allowed to meet with him to straighten things out once and for all. What a shame he shuffled off this mortal coil without meeting any of the repercussions of his actions. Well, I need to check something. Your mother loaned him the entire $200K amount? But the person whose money it was originally isn't here anymore. So the debts just get written off, right? It can't be helped. I think that's just wishful thinking on your part, Joanne. I'm doing right by my mom and making it my duty to get the justice she deserved. What are you talking about? The fact is, there is very much an obligation to repay all money owed. Of course, his inheritance is fully inclusive of all of his debts. They need to be taken into account. But wait, aren't you inheriting everything? Ouch! That means you take on those debts too, doesn't it? So come on, pay up. All $200,000. Is this a joke? Hold on. I didn't know anything about this. I've got nothing to do with it. Oh, and please pass on to my brother everything I've said to you. He needs to be made aware. I will put you in touch with the head of my legal team, Julie, in due course, if she doesn't contact you first. It is a very pressing matter after all. I'd cancel any other plans or appointments you have lined up in the near future if I were you. This isn't just going to blow over. My lawyers will be managing the accounting and liaising my side of things. It's a bit too large a sum for me to be comfortable doing it myself.
Hey, what's all of this about a $200,000 debt? I'm not scared of any of your threats. After all, Dad had plenty of land and property. Built up quite the nest egg for me.
So, you were up all night researching his assets, were you? I guess I can't say I'm too surprised.
With that much of an inheritance, we can pay you all the money and still have some left to play with. I take home my share and you'll be out of the picture. Now, the difficult thing is deciding whether to jet off to somewhere sunny afterwards. At the moment, I'm torn between Mauritius and Bora Bora. Oh, I can't be bothered with that. Let's just go with both.
Fine. If you pay back everything owed, I'll gladly stop bothering you. But nothing is over until I get a clear confirmation that you've returned the amount in full.
All right, quit your whining. You'll get your money. Yeesh. It's all been transferred to your bank account already. I used an instant transfer system, so you can't moan at me about it being held up. Anyway, you'll see when you check it.
Oh, you're right. It's already arrived in the account. I appreciate the promptness.
There was exactly $200,000 in Dad's bank account, so that was helpful. All that's left to do is sell off the land and property, send off all the paperwork, and turn it into cold, hard cash. With that alone, we can live pretty comfortably and have plenty left over for all the vacations and maybe even a second home someplace nice.
In that case, I'll go ahead and officially give up my share of the inheritance so you may have it.
Yeah, you'd better do it ASAP. And when that's done, I will never have to see or speak to you ever again. Oh, I can't wait for you to finally get off our backs. It'll be too late to suddenly change your mind, right?
Don't worry, that's not going to happen. I really don't give two hoots what happens as long as I get the money repaid to me. You could flush the lot down the toilet for all I care. Anyway, good job. Now keep it up with the remaining debts.
What? What remaining debts? I've paid you everything already. We're even now.
Yes, my $200,000 has been sorted, but there are still 10 people left to pay. It's just a rough calculation, but I estimate around $100,000 per person. Good thing you've still got the real estate sales to fall back on. They should cover most of it. Not all, though.
Wait, stop right there. What are you talking about? 10 more people? Oh, you mean that Dad borrowed money from other people besides just your mom?
Yes, that's right. Dad was a worse human being than I even imagined. It doesn't just stop with the money taken from Mom.
No way.
It seems that although Mom loaned him quite a lot of money, he gambled it all away pretty quickly. Even though he had sworn to her he needed it for the purpose of setting up a new business enterprise. It'll be a great investment and you'll see big returns once we get established, he said. The bare-faced cheek of it all. He really intended to swindle her from the start. When I did a bit more digging, I found that every last cent was squandered on his gambling habit.
Huh?
It was more or less the same story for all the other people he took advantage of. He just kept coming up with more and more elaborate excuses so they would continue extending the repayment deadlines for him. They sent letter after letter to the house demanding he gave them their money back. But they claimed they received absolutely no reply, not even a denial of his responsibilities.
Wait, it's coming back to me. Now that you mention it, I do remember a lot of mail that was addressed to Dad being delivered to us pretty often. I'd pass them on to him, but he would just snatch them out of my hand, feign ignorance, put them through the paper shredder, and then burn them in the fireplace. So I could never see what they were about even if I wanted to.
Yes, they sound like they were most likely the repayment reminders. He knew exactly what they were, and he wanted to destroy the evidence. He really didn't care who he was hurting as long as he was safe.
Oh, I never even considered that those were demands for money.
Eventually, those people got sick of waiting and came to see me instead. Because although at home I wasn't considered a true member of the family, by law I most certainly was. They ended up on my doorstep out of sheer desperation. They'd already tried all the other routes, after all, so I don't blame them. I was asked incessantly to schedule a meeting with Dad for them. I had to do what I could to help them. There was no way I could defend him after what I knew and what he'd done to me and Mom. She taught me to have a conscience. There was no way I wanted to turn out like Martin.
So you knew about his debts all along then?
Yes, and that's why I tried on numerous occasions to get in contact with you. I wish you'd at least acknowledged me in some way. Perhaps things would be different. And I really tried my hardest to help those folks and find a way for them to at least communicate with Dad. But all to no avail, as you completely ignored me and refused all my invitations.
Hey, what do you mean? You're trying to pin the blame on me? He was mean to me too, you know. It wasn't just you. You're not the only victim in this. He had a cushy job at a big company, and he always seemed successful. I didn't suspect a thing. But in reality, he was just a filthy, debt-ridden scumbag.
I just need to remind you of the debt still outstanding, now that we're finally communicating. That'll be roughly $100,000 per claimant, please. I'll speak to you again once everything has been received and confirmed.
No, stop. Don't go anywhere. We haven't finished talking yet. You say that as well as yourself, there are 6 people waiting on money that was originally loaned to Dad, right? So multiply $100,000 by 6, and how much is that?
Well, as a rough calculation, it comes to a cool $1 million.
Oh, you can't be serious. Nearly $1 million?
Of course, I'd need to ask each individual person for the details to get the exact amount. But I think you should expect the official sum to come to at least that much. I can't imagine that it would be any less. Also, there's a very real possibility that more people will come forward to claim that he cheated them out of money, too.
But it's impossible for us to pay back all that money. Even taking into account the real estate, etc., the assets don't even come close to covering everything. If that's the case, then we give up our share of the inheritance too. There is no way we would want to take on that kind of burden, so you can't make us pay it. It's not ours anymore.
Oh, really? But I was under the impression that it's too late for backtracking out of this now. So even though I know you don't want to hear it, no matter whether it'll be a money pit or not, you have no choice but to accept.
What? Is that true? How?
You remember the payment you made to me of the money owed by Dad? You thought you were out of the woods, but you actually made the fatal error of withdrawing it from his bank account. Which means you've already officially agreed to accept and use your inheritance. Sorry to rain on your parade and all that. At this stage, you're no longer allowed to change your mind and reject ownership of your share. You'll just have to accept it.
No way. Oh, this is horrible. A complete nightmare. What can we do now? You're saying the only option is to shoulder the entire burden that we've been left with? Is there no way out of this?
Good luck, Patrick. I would be sympathetic and offer to help, but why should I when you've gone out of your way to make my life miserable? Sucks to be you. But unlike myself, you were privileged enough to be granted a full education right up through university, and it was a very high-ranking university if I recall. So with that great big brain of yours, surely you can work something out, Einstein.
Oh, stop messing with me. This isn't funny. It's all well and good saying that, but tell me what I need to do to get out of this. I thought that with Dad's money, I'd be able to retire early and go live somewhere in the sun, like the Maldives, Barbados, or even Hawaii. I was gonna live the dream life. I put down a deposit on a speedboat, and Joanne's got her eye on a Cartier necklace. It's always been her dream to own one. We've already told everyone we're inheriting a fortune. We can't go back on that now. We'll be a laughing stock. Don't you understand how humiliating that would be? What are we supposed to do now? We'll lose everything. Oh, how dare you, you backstabber. After everything we did for you, this is how you repay us?
Oh, shame. It looks like you've got a lot to do, and I don't want to keep you any longer, so I'll be in touch at some point. Whining to me about it is just a big waste of time that you badly need to raise your funds. So you and Joanne had better put your heads together and come up with something pretty fast. Don't expect that money to appear out of nowhere. And I think you are getting repaid exactly as you should be. The punishment fits the crime perfectly. Maybe one day you'll understand. And so following this exchange, 5 other people made formal claims that they also had been tricked by Martin into giving him money and never reimbursed. So as expected, it wasn't just the 10 that were originally known about, but in fact 15 very angry former friends were cheated out of money by Martin. Despite some very vocal protests, the entire party were ultimately repaid all money owed. The final sum came to $1.5 million. Ouch. That sure is some inheritance. My brother and his wife did everything they could to get out of the trap they had put themselves in. They desperately tried to discuss everything with the lawyers early on. They begged and pleaded for mercy. But as they had been told, it was already too late to claim they no longer wanted the inheritance. So they sold off everything, including all of the properties, land, and even Martin's car. And I heard that they somehow managed to pay everything back. After that, Joanne blamed me for the whole debacle, telling everyone who would listen how it was all my fault this had happened. Apparently, as his sister and Martin's daughter, I should have supported them and stopped this from happening to family. But I told them time and time again that they were the ones who had refused to recognize me as a true member of the family all these years. I didn't hear a word from them again after that. I can't say I'm particularly sad about it. But I did hear through the grapevine that they were trying to make ends meet by living in a run-down budget motel. What's more, nobody visited Martin's grave to pay their respects. Certainly not his own children. I can't say I'm too surprised. It turns out even the people he considered friends were only interested in using him the same way he exploited them. Without anyone to take care of it, it soon became completely overgrown with weeds. You can't even make out the name on the tombstone anymore. Thanks very much for watching to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you next time!